Hi everyone! Couple of episodes ago, Tep and I shared to you our birth story. And in today's episode, what I'll be sharing to you is my postpartum story, my journey, what went through my head, my emotions, and then ultimately my realizations. I believe birth stories are the most common stories told out there, and it's a beautiful experience. But I also believe that there's so many things that happens after the delivery of the baby, especially the mental health, the physical condition of the mother, and also the emotional condition of the mother. Looking back at it now, the months that followed after I gave birth of Noah is perhaps the most vulnerable, most fragile, and most sensitive phase of my life. And the reason why I want to share it to you is because you could be a mother who just gave birth, or you could be someone who knows someone who just gave birth or who is about to give birth. This video is with the hope of really putting out there what a mother goes through after giving birth. I know that each story is different, so here I am telling my story, and hopefully you will get something out of it. To begin, I knew that after giving birth, I will really need all the help that I can get. I spoke to my mother months before I gave birth, and due to personal reasons, she couldn't come to Dubai to be with me. I'm very, very thankful because my aunt, who is my mother's only sister, who I am very close to also, she told me that she'll fly all the way from the States to be with me at least 8 days just to really help me out as I begin my motherhood journey. And she was supposed to come on April because the doctor told me I'm going to give birth on April. However, I gave birth 2 weeks prior. When I gave birth, the doctor said everything was normal, and even my recovery in the hospital was normal. And so the time came na kailangan na naming umuwi. And then, typical Filipino family, usually, di ba, pag may newborn baby tayo, binibilad natin sa araw yung baby pag umaga. The pedia came to look at Noah. And syempre ako, new parent and also Tep, so we asked the doctor and we said, is it okay that, early in the morning, ibilad namin yung anak namin sa araw? So the doctor said, oh, no, you don't have to do that because, that's just really the belief of the elderlies. So sabi namin, okay, so hindi pala kailangang ibilad yung baby sa araw. So we went home. And then we were expected to come back to the hospital 3 days later para check up ulit ni Noah. So come check up day, pumunta kami sa hospital. When the doctor checked Noah, sabi niya medyo yellow yata yung baby mo. His bilirubin levels are very high. So may jaundice daw si Noah. So what the doctor said was, he must not go home. He must be admitted in the hospital para magkaroon ng phototherapy. 3 days, I haven't recovered yet. I was so exhausted. I was so tired. And then here comes. So that night, Noah was admitted in the hospital. I was very emotional then because as a mother, I really wanted to breastfeed Noah. But because Noah had to undergo phototherapy, kailangan siyang ilagay sa isang bassinet with all these lights and hopefully para ma-flush out nga yung bilirubin niya. So because of the constant light that's there is a high risk for him to be dehydrated. So kailangan talaga siyang uminom ng gatas palagi. Ang sabi ng doktor sa akin, your milk won't be enough. Kailangan natin siyang bigyan ng ready na formula. While nakabilad si Noah, I on the other hand had to work double time para mag-provide ng milk kasi gusto ko din talaga na yung ibigay sa anak ko ay yung gatas ko, not just the ready-made formula. I will show you a photo of how Noah looked like then. Meron kasing nakatakip sa mata niya. Itong mask na to, if he moves around, may tendency na bumaba sa ilong niya. So I was really worried na baka matakpan yung ilong niya at hindi siya makahinga. So I didn't want to sleep. I always wanted to look at Noah. Okay lang ba siya? Pag gumalaw siya, bumababa sa ilong niya yung maskara niya. So that was really tiring. And at that point, it was just Tep and I because si MM, after nung nanganak ako, dahil wala din siyang tulog, nagkasakit. So she had to stay back. I was very, very exhausted. Si Tep din walang tulog. Ako walang tulog. And at that point, apart from Tep, I didn't really trust anybody to look after Noah. Feeling ko na if matutulog ako, baka ano ang mangyari kay Noah and then I will regret. So iniisip ko, bahala wala akong tulog, basta alam ko okay lang yung anak ko. Thankfully, yung isang close friend namin, actually ninang siya ni Noah, volunteered to come and visit and she said, it's okay. Matulog muna kayong dalawa. Ako ang titingin kay Noah. And she would do that during the day. Tinutulungan niya kami na makatulog man lang ako kahit 30 minutes. Tapos siya ang nagbabantay talaga kay Noah, tinitignan kanya. Yung katawan ko, imagine, after giving birth, for all mothers out there, you would know, my body was in pain plus wala ka pa talagang tulog. So that time was really challenging. Hindi ko alam kung paano ko talaga siya kinaya. 3 days later, the doctor checked Noah and sabi nila, okay, you can go home. And here's the thing, when you give birth, you think, oh, this is going to be the highlight. But actually, no. Para lang pala siyang entry level talaga kung ano yung pinasukan mo. Yung panganganak ay entry level lang talaga pala. Kasi once you go home, then this is where the real life begins. When we went home, we had a new baby and new parents kami. Ako lang, si Tep, si MM. Wala kaming experience how it is to take care of a newborn baby. And eto kami, pagod, walang tulog. And then life continues to go on. Tep had to go back to work kasi ilang days lang ang binigay sa kanya for paternity leave. MM also had to go back to work. So ang matitira lang talaga sa bahay was me and Noah. I felt at that time na, yes, I have a new baby, but then everything else had to be done also in the household. I also have to prepare food. I also have, laundry with me. I also have to wash dishes. So at that point, I was just really overwhelmed. Mentally, I was exhausted. May bagong baby ka, you would have to identify yung iyak na to, anong iyak ba to? Iyak ba to na gutom lang ba siya? Or antok ba siya? Emotionally, there's so many things going on. Plus physically, you're exhausted. It's not easy, what your body went through when you gave birth. So basically, everything was just piling up for me at that time. So I was very, very overwhelmed. And then secondly, if you're a mother, let me know also if you felt the same way. That time, yes, I have a new baby, but I also felt that I had to manage the home. Before we had Noah, I was already married for 8 years. So meron na akong routine sa bahay, how I clean the house, how I folded the clothes, how I would cook, when I would cook. So that was also disrupted. And somehow, part of me still wanted to manage the house. I still wanted to cook, or not just wanted to cook, but I needed to cook also kasi Tep had to leave. There were times though that I would order food, but there were also times that I wanted to eat, specific meals. Plus may pressure pa kasi sinasabi nila, 'di ba, pag bagong panganak ka, you really have to take a lot of liquids. Kailangan mo talagang mag-take ng soup din para yung breast milk mo ay yung supply ay mag-increase. So that's that also. So I really felt there were so many things that were needed to be done na feeling ko ako lang din yung makakagawa. And plus, you hear these suggestions from people saying na, oh, when the baby sleeps, kailangan mong magpahinga din. Hayaan mo na yung mga gawain sa bahay because ang importante magpahinga ka. But also, I do appreciate that them saying that most probably they came from a place of concern also. But in my mind, yung iniisip ko talaga was, how can I sleep when I know na, okay, sige, hindi ko huhugasan yung pinggan na yan, pero sinong maghuhugas niyan mamaya? Parang ganon. Or kung hindi ako magtitiklop, magpa-pile up din yan. So eventually, it will take me a lot of hours also to fold those clothes. Kung magpapahinga ako ngayon, when I wake up later, I will be hungry. Sino ang magluluto? Since ako lang at saka yung baby. So mag-order na naman ako. So kung mag-order ako, it wouldn't be as healthy kumpara kung ako talaga yung magluluto. So there were so many things going on in my mind na I really felt overwhelmed. And also apart from that, I was really, really exhausted. Hindi ko ma-explain yung pagod na naramdaman ko. Pero surprisingly, I don't know saan ko nahuhugot yung energy pa rin to really get up. Kasi yung bata kailangang uminom ng gatas every hour or minsan every 2 hours. You have to do feeding, you have to change the diaper. So, dun ko din talaga na-realize yung sinasabi nila that when you become a mother, kahit anong pagod pala, pagdating na sa bata, hindi mo alam, lalabas na lang talaga yung energy. I'm very grateful na si Tep is a very hands-on father. At night, pag uwi ni Tep galing sa trabaho, again, hands-on na siya. He would help me clean up Noah. He would help me change the nappies. He would help cook food. And then early in the morning, mga 1:00 ng madaling araw, 3:00 ng madaling araw, he would wake up and help me, tuck Noah to sleep. So kami minsan nagtitinginan na lang, sinasabi namin, saan pa namin nahuhugot yung energy talaga na. Of course, come morning time, si Tep and MM had to go to work na. So again, it was just Noah and I left at home. The exhaustion that I felt, minsan I would just find myself crying na hindi ko alam kung bakit, basta kusang tutulo na lang yung luha ko sa sobrang pagod talaga. And then also, I would find myself looking from afar, looking at a distance, And then, minsan, kung ano-ano na lang pumapasok sa isipan ko. I had sad thoughts. I had very down thoughts. If you ask me now, I believe I have, generally optimistic disposition in life. But at that point, hindi ko ma-explain yung mga thoughts ko na parang sa sobrang pagod siguro, sa sobrang lungkot, kung ano-ano na lang yung naiisip ko. It was tough. Also, I noticed that I would easily snap. Konting bagay lang na gusto kong magawa, pero hindi siya nagawa the way I wanted it to happen, nagsasnap ako. It's very strange because by nature, I'm very tolerant, especially to my husband. Mahal na mahal ko yung asawa ko. If I'm patient to other people, I am most patient to my husband. If I'm kind to other people, I really make sure that I am kindest to my husband. But at that point, I would easily snap na hindi ko maintindihan kung bakit. Na minsan yung asawa ko, hindi na rin niya ako naiintindihan kung bakit ako ganoon. So that's why I'm coming back to what I said, that during my postpartum journey, I felt that I was most vulnerable. I felt that I was most fragile. I was most sensitive. And it isn't something that should be taken lightly, because I would understand why mothers go to such lengths also. You hear stories, you hear sad stories. And then I think about, they talk about postpartum blues. I felt it. Before I gave birth, sinabi ko, I am quite confident na hindi ko pagdadaanan yan. I think I have optimistic disposition. Pero at that time, sabi ko, my gosh, postpartum blues is real. Your sadness, hindi mo alam kung ano na lang bigla yung emotion mo. One moment you're very happy, and then one moment you're very sad. It's not a joke. I'll be very, very honest. During that time also, I did not want to see people. I didn't want to mingle with people. I know, of course, people wanted to see Noah, people want to see the baby. They had also good intentions. They wanted to celebrate. But part of me, people might think this is a bit bad of me, but that time I really felt na I'm so tired already, and then having guests around would mean I would have to, muster energy, another set of energy para sa mga bisita, because of course you would have to entertain. And when it comes to entertaining, you would also have to look at the house. You would also have to look at the food. And then once the visitors leave, you also have to look at the house again. So that for me was extra load. Although sinasabi ko na part of me didn't want to see people, still I had friends who came over, and very close friends. And I will always be appreciative kung paano sila tumulong sa akin talaga, because my friend, for example, si Mami G, she would come and visit during the day kasi si Tep and MM wala sila. So, she would come and she'd say, kailangan mo ba ng tulog? Ako muna magbabantay kay Noah. Or may kailangan ka bang gawin? Kailangan mo bang maligo? Ako muna ang titingin kay Noah. Or pagdating sa pagkain, sasabihin niya sa akin, kumain ka muna, ako muna ang magbabantay kay Noah. For her, it might be little things, but para sa akin at that point, it was so much. It was priceless para sa akin. Feeling ko a big chunk of workload was taken off me. So I will always be appreciative of those friends of mine who were there na bumisita and would say, may kailangan bang labhan? Ano bang kailangan namin gawin? So those things I would always remember, na kahit ngayon pag iniisip ko, minsan nagiging emotional ako, because again, sinasabi ko, at that point, I was very vulnerable. I didn't have any help. Wala akong yaya. Little help really meant so much for me. If I could sum up my journey, I felt, after giving birth with only Tep and MM, na mga newbies din talaga kami, I felt that I lost myself. Na-articulate to ng kaibigan ko si Janice, who was also a mother, and she said, para bang nasa barko ako at tumitingin ako sa isla, and then from afar I could see my old self, and then every moment, every second, I could feel the boat lumalayo siya sa isla at nakikita ko yung old self ko. Somehow, sinabi niya sa akin na, yes, you are saying goodbye to your old self, but you will soon realize the new you, and you will appreciate the new you. I feel like yung postpartum journey, especially the first few days, the first few weeks, it is in one way or another a stage of a woman's life wherein she had to rediscover herself. She had to be reborn again. Na feeling ko, when I gave birth of Noah, hindi lang siya yung bagong pinanganak. Feeling ko ako din. I felt that I was also born again, because everything was so new to me. So now, with those experiences came so many realizations. One realization is what mothers go through is not really easy. Kaya sa birth story namin ni Tep, sinabi ko that my respect for mothers are immeasurable because truly what mothers go through is not easy. Kung ano yung pinagdadaanan ng isang nanay, nakakapanganak lang. There are happy voices, there are sad voices that you hear there. So I realized that it is very important that you speak out. Kailangan mo talagang ilabas. At that time, yung nilalabasan ko was si Tep and my closest friends. So, Tep was there to listen. Even my weirdest thoughts na pumapasok sa isip ko, sinasabi ko sa kanya. And also, he was encouraging me to speak out. Sinasabi niya sa akin, love, kung meron kang mga naiisip dyan, kung ano yung mga nararamdaman mo, sabihin mo lahat sa akin. So, I was always expressing to him. And also to my friends who were mothers also, ina-express ko minsan, pag naiiyak na ako, sinasabi ko, hindi ko alam ba't naiiyak ako ngayon or pagod na pagod ako. That made a big difference because somehow feeling ko I am not alone. Somehow feeling ko na I am understood. So that helped me a lot. I mentioned earlier na somehow I felt that I lost myself. I would find windows as much as I can to also do whatever it is that I love. I love reading books. Habang tulog si Noah, for example, or pinapadede ko si Noah, I would read a book. Kahit paragraph lang yan. But para sa akin, yung fulfillment ko rin na, okay, I'm doing something for myself. I realized that it's okay to ask for help. Especially for women out there na sanay talaga na, you do things for yourself, you do things for the house, you don't like to ask for help. I was like that before I gave birth, and then I realized, it's okay to ask for help sa mga kaibigan mo lalo. Okay lang ba na tignan mo muna yung anak ko habang maliligo ako? Or okay lang ba na kakain lang ako, tapos tignan mo lang muna yung anak ko. So, your friends would also be more than happy to do that for you. And also, I realized that it's okay to say no, that you put yourself first, especially if you feel na pagod ka, ayaw mo mag-entertain ng tao, you can always say, is it okay? Wag muna ngayon, maybe next week or, couple of days later, saka na kayo pumunta dito sa bahay because I need to rest first. It's okay to say no, and then true friends would really understand. And then next, it's just really to emphasize the importance of expressing. Huwag nating itago sa sarili natin. We really have to say it. If we're sad, we have to say it. Kailangan nating sabihin because the last thing that we want is to be too overwhelmed na hindi natin kayanin and we might be led to do something na we will regret later on. So again, we really have to express. So you could express it to your spouse, to your closest friends, and of course to people that you trust na alam mo yung intention din talaga nila for you are selfless concerns. It's important to really, really express. The second last realization would be to find windows for yourself. I know it is not easy. I have been there, especially if wala talagang help or wala ka talagang makukuhang assistance. But as much as you can, kahit 5 minutes lang yan or 30 seconds lang yan, find something na masasabi mo talaga na this is for me. And lastly, my greatest realization would be if I have a friend or a loved one na alam ko yung manganganak or kakapanganak man lang, ang uunahin ko muna talagang kamustahin at aalagaan ay yung nanay. Lalo katulad sa amin ni Tep, during the first few days and weeks na wala talaga kaming assistance, I would offer to cook, I would offer to wash the dishes, to fold the clothes, to do the laundry, household chores na pwede kong kunin na para sa nanay para makapagpahinga, makaligo, or makakain. These are things that I feel na yes, giving birth is an exciting thing. Everybody's so excited to see the child, but then we forget the mother. So, realization would be to also look after the mother. Kasi, yes, andyan na nga yung bata, pero para lumabas yung bata na yan, yung nanay, grabe yung pinagdaanan para lumabas ang bata na yan. Before the baby would be the mother. I think that is my greatest realization. To close, I hope I was able to articulate my postpartum experience, how I felt, what went through my mind during the experience, and also my realization. So again, if you're somebody who is a new mother or you know someone who is a new mother, I hope it would give you a background as to how it is. It is not easy. Even after the child is born, the mother continues to recover. Hindi lang isang buwan, but even months or years, the mother still continues to recover. So to all mothers out there, salute. I really hope that you are okay, your mental health is okay, your emotions are okay, your physical condition is okay. Let's keep each other strong. Let's keep helping each other by giving each other advices and also lessons. So if you're a mother, share your experience also in the comment section down below. I would also love to hear your experiences. I don't want to lengthen this anymore. With that said, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Bye!